In a Republican majority on a Nevada County Commission refuses to certify election. 3 Republican commissioners in a key Nevada swing county have refused to certify an election recount, creating new turmoil in a community that since the 2020 election has been a hotbed for election skepticism, misinformation, and vitriol against public officials. The members make up a majority of the Washoe County Commission, a 5-member board in the Reno area that signs off on all election results in the county, and will be responsible for holding a similar vote after the November 5 presidential election. The Secretary of State and Attorney General said Wednesday night the commissioners have failed to uphold a nonpartisan law and are asking the Nevada Supreme Court to require the entire county commission to meet their legal obligations and certify the results. It is unacceptable that any public officer would undermine the confidence of their voters. Nevada Secretary of State Cisco Avila, a Democrat, said in a statement, "The importance of this issue cannot be overstated. Washoe County is the second largest county in the Silver State, and along with Clark County around Las Vegas, it will determine which presidential candidate wins the swing state's electoral votes. The county is a battleground split roughly evenly among Republican, Democratic, and Independent voters. The most conservative counties in our state have never done this," said Alexis Hill, the Democratic Commission chair who voted for certification. "This is unprecedented, truly going against Democratic norms. Recounts were for unsuccessful Republicans. The vote Tuesday was against certifying recounts for a Washoe County Commission Republican primary and a nonpartisan school board primary, both on June 11. The recounts were requested by a Republican who lost to incumbent Commissioner Clara Andriola and a right-leaning candidate in a crowded nonpartisan primary. Both got funding from local activist Robert Beadles. Beadles is a wealthy businessman and major donor to the local Republican Party, who for the last 3.5 years has led a pressure campaign against county officials who do not agree with his view that elections are rife with fraud. It was, in my opinion, his opportunity to create chaos in the voter registrar's office, Hill said. He asked for hand counts as part of the recount, which you can't do because you have to count it in the same way that you counted the original election. There were administrative issues with the election. During early voting in May, the county identified a printing error that meant some people in a small precinct may have needed to revote. Later, the voter registrar's office took longer than anticipated to count ballots because the tabulation machines broke. There were no errors or discrepancies in the recount, according to interim Washoe County voter registrar Carrie Ann Burgess. Avila also defended the voter registrar's office, saying they worked long days and nights to meet all of their legal obligations, and said Nevadans who took the time out of their lives to fulfill their civic duty and vote in these June primaries deserve finality in this election and the assurance that their voices were heard. Beadles, who was unable to be reached for comment, told the commission Tuesday that he had an analysis from a mathematician and an artificial intelligence supercomputer showing it was highly unlikely that his candidates lost their elections. "Our 2024 election was rigged," he said. "It's fraudulent." The Washoe County Commission has 2 Republican members who in the past voted against certifying elections, Michael Clark and Gene Herman. But this was the first time that Andriola, the commission's swing vote, sided with the other 2. The local Republican Party disowned Andriola in January, and multiple Republicans ran against her in a June primary. Based largely on her views on election administration, she fended off that challenge by a wide margin, but her top opponent, Mark Lawson, sought the recount. Lawson lost the recount